Hey folks, I have your home prices and insights for Peel and Durham area for week ending December 22nd. It's the week before Christmas and there's lots going on. Let me tell you a quick story about Brampton. It's kind of like the Wild West right now. We recently sold a couple of listings in Brampton, and judging by the interactions that I had with a lot of the agents looking to buy our listings, it seems that there's just not a lot of control. Let me give you an example. When one of our most recent sale, we had lots of agents calling, trying to find out what the sellers, our clients, what our clients' expectations were. And now, before we list the property, we sit down with our seller clients and we have a meeting. We talk about things in our listing presentation, things like our marketing strategy, which is very important, and how we're going to handle and organize and strategize to deal with multiple offers, our negotiation tactics. But we also, one of the important things, we talk about the expectations. What should this property approximately sell for? It's not an exact science, but we should be within the ballpark. Well, that number, whatever we feel the property is going to sell for, it's not what I want it to sell for, and it's not what the seller wants it to sell for, but it's what the market is telling us when we compare to recent activity, when we compare to what the market is actually doing. When I look at things like I'm going to talk to you shortly, the months of inventory, the pressure on the market, which way our price is heading. When I look at all that, we come up with a number that their property should most likely sell for. So our seller clients already have an expectation that makes sense, and we all agree on that number with evidence. Well, I'm getting agents calling me asking what our sellers' expectations are, and I say, well, I sat down with my sellers. I tell these other buyer agents, and we've been through the market. We know what's going on. You should do the same thing and properly advise your clients. Because we had an offer date set, and these agents are trying to find out really what's probably going to sell at. Well, they're coming back to me with properties not even remotely comparable to our property. There's a home that very recently it sold 5 doors down. It was a 3-bedroom bungalow, and somehow they're using that as comparison to our 4-bedroom detached home. There's another agent that called about a semi and trying to compare to our detached property. There's another agent comparing a new built just a few blocks away, a new home, comparing to our property that has some updates but by no way considered a new home. Well, we can tell by also the way the offers came in that these are the properties they're comparing to. And the person who ended up winning was actually comparing our home to a new build, which is great for our sellers because they got more than what they expected. However, it's terrible for their clients, the buyer clients, because they're either overpaying or they're putting their offer with no chance of winning because they're comparing to properties that don't make sense. So I asked myself, if they're doing this on the buy side, comparing properties to other properties where it doesn't make sense to actually compare to, they must be doing this when they get asked to list a property. And we can see this by the sales going on in Brampton. Some properties are being sold at prices that are completely ridiculous, and other are being undersold, wondering what's going on there. Well, it's agents not really taking their position as consultants and looking at comparable properties that make sense. We see this when we're on the listing side with agents giving us offers, and when I talk to them, how'd you come up with this number? And it's one thing if they tell me, well, that's the maximum my buyer can pay, and that's what we're trying to get it. But when they say, well, that's what the house is worth based on the sale, that sale doesn't make any sense. So strategy is so important. Knowing the approximate number the home is going to sell for up front is super important, but comparing apples to apples, no matter how difficult sometimes it may be, you still got to go out of your way as a realtor to compare apples to apples to properly advise and guide your clients. So like I've said many times before, who you hire matters. What I just spoke about makes a big difference in what's left in your pocket at the end of the day. Let's get into the numbers. If you're looking to reach out to us to talk about whatever is on your mind related to real estate, we've made it really simple. In the description below, there's a link to my calendar. Just book a time that's convenient for you. This way, I'll know ahead of time when you want to talk, and I'll make sure that I'm available, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Let's get into the numbers for Peel and Durham region. If you're thinking that, it's the holiday season, there's nothing going on, you're making a mistake. There's lots going on. Here are the three cities I'm going to talk about. I've got Mississauga up top. I've got in orange here is Brampton, and I've got Durham region this way. Now for Durham region, I've got Ajax, Pickering, and Whitby as one area, and Durham area has actually surpassed, for this week, has surpassed Brampton as far as average sold price goes. Let's take a close look at Mississauga. These are detached properties only. We sold 34 detached properties in Mississauga. 8 of them were at $2 million or more, and average sold price is sitting at $1,708,000. $1,708,000. When you kind of look across, it's one of the higher weeks that we had most of the year. This time last year, we were sitting at $1,400,000, $1 million, less than $1,500,000. We're now at $1,708,000. Which is 20% higher than last year's average sold price. Of the 34 that sold, 85% sold at list price or more. Now, I know 34 is not a lot, but still, 85% is going to feel like almost all of them selling at list price or more. We listed only 26. Well, if we look back at over the weeks, we've been kind of listing pretty similar to what we've been listing last year. But this one week we listed more than what we listed last week. Total for the week ending at midnight at December 22nd, 104 detached properties were available for sale, which makes our months of inventory 0.7, with 10 being the average days on the market. Let's look at Brampton. I keep calling Brampton the wild, wild west right now. We sold 76 detached properties. 7 were at $2 million or more. Now, average sold price is $1,435,000. We keep breaking records over the last 4, 5, 6 weeks here. $1,400,000, $1,437,000, $1,441,000. Now we're at $1,435,000, still in that record territory, compared to where we were last year, sitting at 1.1, under 1.2. Compared to last year, we're 28% higher than last year's average sold price. Of the 76 that sold, 91% sold at list price or more. That's definitely going to feel like all of them. And we listed 78. So listings have been, for several weeks now, higher than what they were last year at this time. And months of inventory dropped a little bit. It's sitting now at 0.2 months of inventory. Extremely competitive, extremely aggressive. 0.2, 0.3, 0. I mean, if you just look at here what it's been since September, it's just really, really aggressive what's going on in Brampton. So here we have the representation for Durham, which is Ajax, Pickering, and Whitby. We sold 35 detached properties. 3 of those were at $2 million or more. When you're selling this slow, 1, 2, or 3 sales one way or the other could really affect the numbers. And this is what's happening here. Average sold price is $1,482,000 for this 1 week, which is, way, way up there. It's 24% higher than last year's average sold price. You figured it'd be a lot more, but the same week last year, we had a huge jump in average sold price. So it's only 24% higher than last year's average sold price. 89% selling at list price or more. Consider it all of them when you're looking at numbers like that. Listings are down. We listed only 23, 31 active listings. So Ajax, Pickering, and Whitby, can you imagine there's only 31 detached properties available for sale midnight, December 22nd, and months of inventory sitting at 0.2, with 10 being the average days on market. When you look at months of inventory, you know, Mississauga here sitting at 0.7. It's a different buying experience in Mississauga compared to Brampton and Ajax. But still, 0.7 is extremely competitive. So if 0.7 is extremely competitive, imagine 0.2 months of inventory. Properties are being listed and sold quickly, aggressively. That's what's happening the week before Christmas. We're going to have the reports every single week going through this whole holiday season. If you need us, in the description below, book a time. We're happy to talk to you. Happy holidays.